This chapter contains some sad news for Frankie, and really we get to see Luffy and Lucci going at it, and you wonder how much more can Luffy take. One Piece, Chapter 425, Bridge of Mortal Kombat.
Well, hello my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Pepe, and today I am here to bring you a review on the wonderfully, awesomely, creatively told tale of the One Piece. I don't know why the hell I did that, probably just for sake of trying to say or do something a little bit different. After a while, you feel like everything you say, you've said before. Like you've just repeated everything. And the thing that's sometimes hard to remember is that, or that I fail to remember, I guess you would say, is that many of you haven't seen every one of my videos or heard everything that I've said. So, although some things are repeats to me because I've done them so often, many times other people, they're hearing it or paying attention to or listening to it for the first time. So, anyways, but this is obviously a One Piece review. Our last chapter, of course, saw us with really just everything is going to shit. I mean, Enies lobby is being decimated and destroyed. What's left of the Galila foreman, along with the Frankie family, the Giants, everything else, looked like they were getting blown to shit at the end of the last chapter. And then Luffy went and kicked it into Luffy and Lucci, again, are going head-to-head. Luffy obviously recovered from his third gear after post-chibi deal that he does where he goes into a little guy, and wound up going into his his second gear, and or gear second, and then and then basically just that's how the chapter ended. They're about to go at it again. So that's right where things wind up picking up over here. We get a couple of different things going on in the chapter. The meat and potatoes, the bulk of the chapter, if you will, is really the fight between Luffy and Lucci. This fight has been, for the most part, raging on for the better part of, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 chapters now. But we get varying degrees of it in each chapter. Sometimes we just kind of see them for a couple of pages. Sometimes it's front and center and it's 10, 12, 14 pages. This particular chapter, it winds up going back and forth. It shows us on the Bridge of Hesitation, obviously on that escape ship, that vessel that was taken over by the Straw Hats, well, by Frankie and Robin, and now the rest of the Straw Hats are on board, minus Luffy. They're all kind of sitting there wondering what's going on. They hear over the snail transponder that they have from the other warships. They hear about what's going on, that the pirates have been rounded up at the front gate and this and that. And Frankie's like, oh yeah, those guys, and they got 9 lives and this and that, they can't be killed, that sort of thing. And the next thing he winds up hearing, which is really disturbing for him, is that everyone has been wiped out, every last one of them. Enies lobby has been leveled, the courthouse, everything, and they're going through. And they're saying, and this is the warships communicating with each other, calling in their report. And then they say, and the only thing that is left is the Bridge of Hesitation. So everybody's going to go, all these ships are going to go and converge in the Bridge of Hesitation. Can't speak today. And Frankie is certainly notably upset, right? I mean, he's visibly upset about this. There's a tear in his eye. And on one hand, I want to feel for the guy, and I want to feel bad for the guy. But on the other hand, the track record so far that I've seen in One Piece is that I don't think any of these characters are dead, maybe injured, but when we did kind of see them, it looked like they were maybe jumping into the water or jumping off of somewhere, so I'm hoping that they will wind up being rescued, and just kind of anticipating that, and really, until I actually see a body, getting buried and put in the ground, I'm not buying any of the deaths, but that's just me personally, so... But again, what winds up being the real apex of this whole this whole chapter here is the fight that's raging on between Luffy and Lucci. It's very beautifully realized. Oda does a great job of just sort of conveying just everything, man. Just the impact and the motion, the speed, And now when Luffy is in his gear second, that all of his moves obviously are faster and stronger. The jet pistol, for instance, things like that. So as this battle rages on and they kind of go back and forth between, just trading blows, beating the shit out of one another, eventually Lucci goes and starts to get kind of pissed off because he takes a couple of solid hits from Luffy, and he says, you know what? This is what you get when you mess with the, you don't realize the true power of the full power unleashed of the 6 powers, And what he does, he winds up doing this thing where he goes and comes at him with 2 hands, it looks like this, and he goes, 6 King Pistol! And it looks like he just nails Luffy. Luffy winds up even saying afterwards, like, man, that's like getting hit with the impact dials from up on Skypiea, only much, much harder, you know? So, and you gotta remember, he's already been through the ringer. I mean, this guy's already popped in to Gear Second a few times just within the last half an hour of time that's taken place on Enies lobby. He's been in his Gear Third twice. And obviously it takes a lot out of him. So, you know, I don't know where he's at on the brink of death meter, but I certainly know that he has taken a licking, and he's taken a pounding, and again, not in a good way. So, so as this rages on back and forth between them, like I said, the main thing is just how is Luffy going to find a way, at least for me, the thing that I'm trying to think about, and I hopefully will get wrapped up soon, is how is Luffy going to be able to beat this cold, hardened killer that just doesn't seem to stop? Now, Lucci, I believe it was in the last chapter that, you know, he was talking about some of the damage that he was taking. He couldn't move as fast as he wanted to because his legs had taken too much damage. So you know that he's also taken a beating, and he has taken some damage, but this guy is just some next level stuff as far as how he just keeps coming at you. It just reminds me of, like, I don't even know how to explain. Maybe like a psycho or somebody that's on like some drugs or something like that. You know, I mean, you always hear them talking about how, you know, it came at me like he was possessed or like he was on some kind of, you know, drug, a meth addict or some shit like that. So, anyway, not trying to compare Lucci to a meth addict, but, you know, trying to trying to visualize and think about that. You know what I mean? Just how do you go up against this unstoppable force like that? And certainly we've seen the track record of Luffy, though, is that, you know, he won't let his friends down, and he never backs down. He never gives up. So certainly there's a lot of hope to be had, and I certainly feel as if he's going to come out on top. I just wonder how much more damage and punishment he's going to take in the process, and ultimately what type of move and or moves he's going to be able to use to be able to ultimately defeat Lucci. So the chapter winds up ending off, though, like I said, with the, you know, all the warships are now converging on the Bridge of Hesitation, and, you know, and Frankie and everybody else, you know, they said, listen, we can, even though we're waiting for Luffy, even if we wanted to get out of here, it's going to be pretty difficult, okay? We knew that just one of those warships had 1,000 men on it, so, I mean, if you just do simple math on the 10 warships that there are, there's 10,000 soldiers, right? And that's, like, on top of the warships themselves and the vice admirals, who I'm assuming are all pretty formidable opponents as well. So, definitely not a good place to be right now for the Straw Hats, but, you know, I guess we'll see what remains to be seen, what will happen until the next chapter. So, that is how the chapter ends off, and just a really kind of cool picture between here. I'll pull it up over here, which I thought was kind of cool. It ends off with just this great look of determination on Lucci and Luffy's face. They both just kind of look like, I don't know, you know what I mean? They just both look determined, angry, but yet bloodied and beaten and exhausted at the same time, if you can try to encompass all that in one black and white picture. But very, very cool stuff. So, my chapter question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is ultimately, what are your thoughts on Lucci and his moveset that we've seen so far, and Lucci just as a character, as far as him being just this relentless, cold-hearted killer? I know I did ask a question a few chapters back when we found out about his past, but I'm just talking about overall, like, how do you... I haven't seen some of the villains that are to come, obviously, you know, so I don't really... would like to not know about them, you know, try to keep it spoiler-free, but, you know, for those of you even that are caught up, where would you say that Lucci ranks on your, you know, top 10 villains chart, for instance? So let's make that the question. On your chart of top 10 villains in One Piece, let's just keep it One Piece right now, because obviously there's a lot bigger world out there if we go into everything, but One Piece itself, top 10 villains, where does Lucci rank on your top 10? Or does he not rank at all? You know, if he's lower than that, just tell me, doesn't rank. So, leave your answer to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Thanks for watching, and please remember to take a look at my other channels.